So how does the the electrical impulse side of it, how does that find the areas that are not working and sort of direct it to, well, when I say not working, but obviously...
Involved.
Yeah. How does it do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a really great question. Yeah. So there's been a lot of research back in like the early 1900s of all the different areas in the brain that are sort of involved with depression, and obviously, you know, the brain is this huge network, so there's a lot of different areas. But there's research initially that was looking into what area specifically might be the best to be using. And there's a area called the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, really long word name, and that...
Where is that?
So it's roughly about here-ish. But you can find there's a motor cortex, and it's a little bit in front of that on the left side of the brain. So it's kind of here-ish. Because we're giving stimulation, we're trying to excite that area of the brain, and that area of the brain is usually below what it should be at. So if we excite that area, sort of brings it back up to where it should be. And then there's a whole other range of things that can then cause, like neurotransmitters in the brain can be changed, the networks within the brain, they can be strengthened, they can be weakened. So if there's a network that is being, causing that depression or, affecting that adversely, then you can try and weaken those connections and then strengthen the better ones, and then, use that to treat the depression.
But that particular region, and again, Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong, the prefrontal cortex is really important for emotions.
So specifically, for someone with complex PTSD like myself, which is trauma going back to your childhood where my brain didn't form properly because of trauma, what you're saying is that I could kind of excite that part of my brain, exercise it, and say, wake up, mate. and that'll help me develop that part of my brain that didn't develop.
That's exactly, I think, what a lot of treatments for depression are trying to do. Even cognitive behavioural therapy that trains you to think and to respond in certain ways. That's exercise in the brain. But as Lauren pointed out, the TMS does it electrically because sometimes it's too difficult or not possible to do it just by yourself. You need some help. And that's where the electrical stimulation should come in.